Fucking rich getting richer, man.
Yeah. Mr. Graphite. What's the big pencil company? Bic. Mr. Bic. First it's pencils. Then it was the lighters. I bet he's like, hey, if you want to light this fire, you got to have number 2 fluid, not number 6.
Oh, God damn it. What was that? There's a company that makes pencils, but it's named after some fucking revolutionary battle. No, It was like a revolution. It was like a battle during the Ticonderoga. Is that it? Texas Ticonderoga. Fuck.
Yeah, no, Dixon Ticonderoga. That's the yellow ones, the big famous yellow ones.
I bet they're the ones that make like the number 47 lead because they're like, because we don't conform to number 2 pencils.
Yeah, once I discovered that pencils were
revolutionary. Get it? Because
once I discovered that you could use pen for stuff, I never used pencil. I hate using pencils. Like, I want to scratch through and see my mistakes for years to come.
Wow. I feel like, now, if I was taking notes, I would write,
Ticonderoga.
I would write in pencil. I would write, has issues dealing with failure, and then I'd underline it, and then I'd draw an S, like we all did on our notebooks in high school, but we all had, but none of us have any idea what it means. What does that S mean, Shawn? Why were we like? What were those S's about? Because I drew them all the time when I was in school, but I have no idea why.
I don't remember drawing any S's.
You know what I'm talking about, though? Like you'd see them. Everybody drew them on notebooks. It was like an S, but it was in a specific font.
I don't think I ever did that. I mean, I would draw like an S with lines through it, like dollar signs, and I'd be like dollar bills, y'all. And they'd be like, "Shut up, Fred Durst wannabe." Because when I was in school, Fred Durst was the shiznizzle. But yeah, number 2 pencils, I think, is a racket. I don't think it exists.
Well, then okay, so my question is, why did they do it then?
I don't know. It's a good question. Because the teacher would always be like, take out your number 2 pencils, and I'd always use a pump pencil. And I got a decent enough SAT score.
Yeah?
I don't know. It was good enough. Got me this far in life. Do you even remember your like SAT or ACT score?
I didn't. I actually never took them.
Oh. I don't remember which one I took. I took the one that was like not 1800 or whatever score. It was like a 0 through like 30. I think I got like an 18. Like I was right on, like I think 20 is kind of like where like you can get into any school you want kind of thing. And like an 18 is kind of like the borderline. Like some of the like big universities will be like, yeah, you're on the chopping block.
Uh-oh.
Clown school though, they don't care.
I think maybe that's why I never took them, is because I didn't want like I didn't need that. It would have been a almost like a final arbiter of my, and at the time I probably thought it was like the final arbiter of like how smart I was.
Oh yeah, I think
because I watched all those movies as a kid where some guy was a complete fuck off and then he'd score like double 15,000 on his fucking SATs.
Yeah, you get like a 28.
Like, wow, and then he went
Richard, you're a genius. Oh my God, yeah. Richard, let's think about that. If you would have done that, you'd been like, oh my God, you're a genius. And Mr. Harvard would have came by. It's like, we want to give you a full ride. And then we want to make you president of Harvard. Hey, how do you feel about Skull and Bones? You want to be in a secret society? And you're like, yeah. You and I would have never met. You might be president right now, Richard.
You know what? How do you know that already hasn't happened? Because wouldn't I not tell you?
I mean, I'm Richard. Like, I know I didn't use a number 2 pencil during those tests, but I'm not a complete idiot. I think I know if you're president or not.
Not of the country, but of a secret society.
Oh, I was saying of the country. Wait.
No.
Richard, why are you getting up and walking away? Sorry, I got to do State of the Union. Dun, 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 dun. What's up, everybody? I'm President Richard.
Hello! And then they'd be on Fox News and be like, this guy's a complete idiot. And then somebody else would be like, well, he did score double 1,500 on his SATs.
This just in. President Richard didn't use a number 2 pencil. He used a number 6.
That's how he did it. Hashtag not my president. Hashtag not my pencil.
Who's spreading all this news? You're in the Oval Office like, who found out? Who got this dirt?
Number 1
Topenganga.
Number 2, like double tall headline on the New York Times.
This tweet sponsored by Topenaga. Or what is the pencil company? Topanga? Ticonderoga. That's going to be the downfall of the Richard presidency.
That'd be all right, though, because then I get a sponsorship from, like, Sharpie or something.
Ooh, yeah, Sharpie would sponsor you.
Yeah, they would. They'd be like, yeah, fuck big graphite.
I don't know. This pen is pen gear. I don't know what that means.
All right, we're going to do a show. We're going to make some show.
Oh, I breathed in too hard, hurt my throat.
Get it out. Work it out. Oh, I'm feeling good. Shawn, get ready. Get ready to get your funny bone. Get your funny bone. Sharpen your funny bone.
I'm your number 2 funny bone. Kind of crazy. Do you like when I spike my hair up like this? Do I look like Kramer? Ah! That's what I wish we had a video podcast.
I like it. Bring on that crazy. I need that energy. What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we are speaking the language of bromance. Today, Shawn, I have a scathing indictment of us as a podcast.
Have you been reading our reviews again?
I have.
I told our moms and our wives to stop posting those. Like, they can tell us at Thanksgiving, but they shouldn't put that on iTunes.
It's a scathing indictment of us, but I have found a way to make us better.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm always for self-improvement.
Exactly. Because who are we if we do not grow?
Yeah, I enjoy constructive criticism because it helps you grow. It's not like hostile. Because I think whenever like somebody's like, you're a piece of shit and you need to do this, like it's like, no, screw you. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, what do you know,
idiot? Yeah, but if somebody's like, hey, I've noticed that your hair looks like an octopus fell on your head, and I think it'd look better if it was shorter. I'm like, oh yeah, you're probably right.
Huh. I mean, could have been a little, more bread on that compliment sandwich, but I get it.
Yeah.
So Shawn, when you look at our title on the actual title, we are the language of bromance, right?
Yeah.
What do we label ourselves as?
Well, we've called ourselves the Bros.
Right.
We are 2 best friends.
Yes.
That's all I got.
What category do we list ourselves in?
Oh, like improv comedy.
Improv comedy. Exactly, Shawn. Exactly. Improv comedy. So I need a
food.
Today.
I need a food. Apples. All right, now I need a situation. Your mom's basement. All right, let's do this.
So we've talked about a lot of things over the last I don't know how long. Just not really so like we've gotten into a bunch of different topics about a bunch of different stuff,
History, however, animals.
I think it's time we need to work on honing our craft, Shawn. 10,000 hours makes you a master, right?
Yep, and we've got 9,500 hours to go.
All right. So from now until the next 400 episodes, you and I are going to go to school. So what I did is I found 101 tips, strategies, and tools for improv success.
Ooh, I like this. All right.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is I just figure we'll go through a couple of them, and then we'll come up with examples, and then we'll just fire off. You know, we're gonna dust off the improv muscles, and we're gonna get to work. Okay.
All right, I'm stretching them. Got these improv muscles stretched.
Masterclass in audio form. All right, and
oh yeah.
The bell just rang, and everybody, you guys, guess what, fair listener, you are coming to
Richard,
school. What's that? A bell? It's time for school.
This is going to be a masterclass in Improv Bromance.
That's right. Okay. So 100, and you know what? Maybe this will help people. Maybe somebody's like, I really want to know how to do improv comedy. How do you be funny? And we're like, okay, step 1, shut this off. Step 2,
go listen to John, because he's really good at improv. I've told him that before. He probably doesn't listen anymore, but if he listens, John, you've got like the best improv skills that I've seen.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, he's good at it. Like when we did that wrestling podcast, or when he comes on, it's just like you like just start throwing this idea and he runs with it, and you're like, all right, let's play on this.
Yeah. What's that? A bell? Time for school. Okay. So this list is organized bottom to top. So tip number 101 is watch yourself on video.
Ooh. Or do it in a mirror. That's kind of like the same idea. I keep telling my wife.
Does that work for just improv? Because one time I caught myself in the mirror and I was disgusted.
No. Yeah,
that was terrible. I was frightened.
Like sometimes, like I know what you're talking about. It's like when you're doing self-care and like your screen goes black and you just see your face reflection in it.
Yeah,
like,
it was bad.
Thank God I don't have a gun next to me. I do have a toaster. Yeah, there's a toaster in a tub. Here I go.
Looked like a shaved ape churning butter. It was terrible.
Yeah, I always worry in that moment too. It's like, man, thank God my wife hasn't walked down here and seen that.
And then you realize, like, oh God, she has, like, in a way.
Yeah. She's like, why are you so angry about it?
Close your eyes. Don't look at me. And she's like, gladly. And I'm like, oh.
But did you have to slam the door? Oh, well.
Okay. Tip number 100. Let things get imbalanced. New improvisers often want to maintain balance. If you have a magic power, suddenly they have a magic power. If you have a gun, they're wearing a bulletproof vest. If there's a problem, they have a solution. True drama is created when it's not equal. Think of all the work they have to do in movies to make it seem like Superman has the odds against him.
That's a good point. Like, I always feel like, because improv, you almost have to make it feel realistic. Like,
or like it's like upping the ante. Like, like I'm going to punch you in the face. Then I'm like, well, I'm going to stab you in the heart. And then you're like, I'm going to shoot you in the head.
Well, what I like about that too is you just reverse it. Where somebody's like, I'm going to shoot you in the face. It's like, well, I'm going to kiss you on the hand.
And then you're like, wait, what? What?
Because I think that's kind of like when good improv bounces back and forth, where it's like you throw that curveball, but you're able to run with it. It's like, well, I'm going to kiss you on the hand. Well, I'm going to, I win.
I'm going to lick you in the teeth. What? Kick you in the teeth? No, you heard me. I said what I said.
I'm going to bite your nostril.
Whoa, kinky. Usually I have to pay for that. And sometimes I don't. Tip number 99. I don't know if we're going to get through this whole list, but I figured it's a long list, so I feel like we can kind of breeze through, breeze through it. Tip number 99, just answer the damn question. In an effort to come up with the right answer, many people will put off giving any answer at all. There is no right answer. Someone asks you how old you are, don't stutter and stammer and think, just answer the question.
I always think like that, so like you almost have to exaggerate it, Because like if it's like, well, why is the grass wet? Oh, well, it rained. Well, that's not good improvisation. Or like you say, like, well, how old are you? Well,
5.
If we're going by human years, I'm 36, but I go by Mars years, which actually go even quicker.
Which is 36 and 5/8. Also, I can jump 48 feet. And once I was in a really bad movie named after a doctor
your
ER.
Dirty mouth. That is a good movie and underrated. I went and saw that in theaters, and everybody's like, "This movie was horrible." I'm like, "Well, nobody went to see it, so they can't say it was horrible." I have not
seen it. I heard it cost really a fucking like dump truck full of money, though.
Yeah, what was that movie called?
John Carter.
Yeah,
it was named after a doctor on ER, even though the book was written in 1895 or some crazy shit.
Yeah, I know it was like shit ton expensive, and like nobody went to see it. And I don't know, I think it was just bad marketing because it was one of those things where it's like me and my father-in-law like, hey, we're just gonna go see a movie. It's like, well, do you want to see this? I was like, well, no, not really. Like, I don't even know what it's about. Go and sit, and like I left, like I was actually pretty impressed with that movie. Like it was. I think
it's on Disney Plus.
It's worth watching.
I think it's on Disney Plus. I think. I don't know.
Takes place on Mars and Earth. Spoilers.
Which means that the movie is 7/8 slower than a movie on Earth. Or whatever the fuck. I don't know. There's like 28 hours in a Mars day.
Is it? Well, maybe? How long does it take to go around the sun, though?
Oh, God damn it. I'll head to the next tip. Number 98, stay within the circle of expectations. In order to be clever, many improvisers add in nonsense that takes away from the scene. You're at the beach. It doesn't make sense for there to be a snowstorm, a tsunami, sure, but if you introduce something random, you better explain it. If you're in Africa hunting lions, we expect a lion encounter. It doesn't make sense if suddenly there's a Walmart and no lions.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. Like, I think that would be a good practice to try to make that work. I think if you're doing it in front of people, you probably don't want to do that. Like,
well, see, I feel like it depends. Like you said, it depends on the situation. Like, I think you could make that play. Like, all right, we're stalking through the jungle. We're sucking through the jungle in the African bush. Oh, we're gonna go find a lion. And is that a Walmart?
Out here in the bush, remember, when you go inside and you see one of the people from Walmart, if they get all feisty and bite you, you stick your thumb in your mouth and you jam it up their butt.
Yeah, and then hide in a clothes rack. That way they won't find you. And if you really get into trouble, climb on top of the ball tower. You know, that big tower that they hold all the balls in, and then use a plastic lightsaber to fight off any attackers.
And if you're worried about the lady on the Little Rascal, just use some Axe body spray. She won't be able to smell you. The problem is, though, it attracts bros.
And cougars.
Got a tale about the cougars, I do.
See? Totally right there. We just put a Walmart in the middle of the Serengeti. Do you care about hunting lions anymore? Nope. No, you don't. You don't give a shit.
Yeah. You're interested in cougars and bros.
Yep. Now you're thinking about some fucking, 40-year-old woman who is wearing a shirt that's like designed for a 3-year-old walking around. And then it looks like they're baking bread in their back and it's all like popping out.
Oh my God, Richard, you're speaking my love language.
Like a tube of crescent rolls.
Yeah, be careful though, Richard. Our wives are getting close to that age. You'd be like, oh my God, like a mid 40-year-old wife's gonna be like, hey!
Number 97, move the story forward. Often scenes get locked up with people bickering, talking, or gossiping, avoiding any kind of interesting action. Move the story forward before that happens. Find a dead body, meet a ghost, discover a secret about your lover, threaten, search, seduce, anything that moves things forward. I think we do a good job of that. To be honest, like we just did that with Walmart. Number 96. Avoid the 7 deadly sins of improv.
Oh, God. All right, I'm keeping track. Which one do we do?
Okay. Number 1 is blocking. That's where you negate the ideas and suggestions of other people or yourself. Like somebody, I feel like I say you have nice hair, and then you're like, I'm bald.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like, yeah, I get that. That's kind of stupid.
Wimping, refusing to give information. How long have you been here? I don't know, is an example.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like the short, like, yes-no answers. Like, if you do that, you kind of stop it. So I kind of go, like, those seem to go hand in hand, blocking and wimping. All right. I think we're 0 for 2.
Trying to get others to give all the ideas.
Well, tell me what you think about that. Somebody says,
where are we? And then you say, at the mall, silly. And then they say, what should we buy? And then you're like, a new dress. And then somebody's like, who's that over there? And you say, Eric. And so basically, like, you basically are prompting them to build the entire scene.
Oh, I got you.
And you're not contributing anything.
So not asking a lot of questions. Because that's really what improv
asking
is.
Too many questions.
Yeah, because that's really what improv is you're kind of reacting to something isn't there. And you get to make it up, which is fun.
Well, the thing is that both of you are making it up. And so it's not like, hey, who's that? And then you answer that question, and I'm like, well, what are we doing? And then you answer that question, and I'm like, well,
where are your pants?
Yeah. What store are we in?
Where am I? Like no, seriously, where am I? What am I doing here? What am I doing with my life?
Hospital. Why are we in a hospital?
We WebMD your symptoms. Oh, God, do I have cancer? Quit asking questions.
Gagging, making gags at the expense of a scene. No gagging, Shawn. I don't care what Pornhub says. Hedging, avoiding being specific. Think like you say, what have you brought me here for? And then somebody says, that's an excellent question. There are many reasons, and they are all important. Some of them may be beyond what you can possibly imagine. In fact, nothing you can, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. Yeah, I get that one.
So when you're intentionally vague with your responses.
I feel like a lot of these is like somebody trying to play it safe when they improv.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Bridging is the sixth deadly sin. Person A says, have you brought me here to fire me? And person B says, well, I've been looking at performance and it's not really where we'd like it. It's a bit below, really. And you've been behaving like a buffoon with the female staff. Also, there's some questions I'd like to ask you. So you're not getting going.
I gotcha.
And the last one is canceling. No canceling. This is the removal of an idea that has been established.
Oh, so it's like, I'm not wearing any pants. It's like, yeah, you're wearing pants. I'm wearing pants.
Or I'm like, oh my God, there were flying saucers. And then you say, that was a dream. You had a dream. And I'm like, well,
it just feels like you're kind of being a dick on stage. It's like, oh my God, look at those flying saucers. It's like, you're high right now and you're dead. Oh, I'm dead? I'm an angel?
Oh my God, it's M. Night Shyamalan.
What a twist!
M. Night Shyamalan has broken the 7th rule of improv. It's his entire premise of a movie. Tip number 95, let go of your great idea. If you have a great idea and you force it in, if you have a great idea and you force it in, it's not a great idea.
Ooh, wait, what? What if instead of we do this list, we do like this thing about like panda bears? Maybe we should do that instead. I was telling you that story
about panda bears.
That there's zoos where you can work and you can cuddle panda bears all day because panda bears, as you know,
I don't think that's true because panda bears are endangered. I bet because they can't. That can't be because wouldn't they be afraid that like you go in there and like accidentally strangle the panda? I don't know how you accidentally strangle something, but say you accidentally strangle a panda and then now you've just killed, like that was the last female panda left on Earth, and you've just basically doomed a race to extinction because
I
choking a panda bear is how you get your rocks off.
I feel like that's a shit. What's the website that's got the slang stuff in it? Oh fuck, what is that called? Where you
Urban
put like
Dictionary.
Anger. Yeah, I feel like that's an Urban Dictionary. Choking the female panda.
Choking the female panda.
Hey babe, you want to try the choking the female panda? What's that?
It's where I choke you out and then women go extinct. It's rad, right? Tip number 94: use these skills in your life. I remember taking a series of improv classes, and each week I would ask the other students how they had used what they were learning. So basically saying like, hey, like apply these to your life. Don't just apply them to yourself on stage.
I get that.
Oh, tip number 93: touch each other.
Ooh, I don't know about that one. Like strangers touching. Like there's this whole like new thing on Facebook. I don't know what it is, but I've seen it on Facebook where like people are going up the escalator. So one person's going up, one person's going down.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about, but go on.
Yeah, and they reach over and like touch the other person's hand, like all seductively. I'm like, that's a great way to like.
There'll be some like they'll dub some music over it.
Yeah, it'll be like a cute girl touching like this old dude's hand, and his wife's like, "What the fuck was that, Brad?" Like, I don't know. That chick touched my hand. Like, if I was single, she's like, "What, Brad? What?" It's like,
you disappoint her too. Shut up, Sarah. I see some Brad.
I should have married Greg. Yeah, you should have. He's a doctor, you know. We're friends on Facebook.
So what do you not like about that?
I'm not a big I don't like strangers touching me.
No, I totally get that. Especially in this day and age, I can totally understand that.
Because
do you feel okay? There is a part of me that feels like I have the social interaction part of my brain has shorted out.
No, I think I've always been like that. Like even when we've had like friends that like Tiff's got some I wouldn't consider them like great friends with me. Like I'm kind of like on an acquaintance, close friendship, but like they like to hug, and it's just I don't know. I just don't like. I feel like that's like an emotional connection. Like I don't want to be hugging some like girl that's not my wife, right? Like I don't know. That's just kind of.
I'm not. I'm not as puritanical as you, but I mean, I can definitely see that's the way you would think. Like, I don't put any emotional stock in a hug.
No, but it's not.
For me personally, when I hug somebody, I feel like it's more for them than it is for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm not a hugger. I'm not a hugging kind of person. I mean, ask my kids.
I don't offer the hug. Like, whenever, there's a couple, there's another friend of ours that he'll hug everybody. So he'll hug Tiffany, but I'm not going to hug his girlfriend. I don't even offer it up. There's only one of the friends in the group that I actually hug because she kind of throws herself at me essentially, and that's why I tell Tiffany I put my hands out. I'm like, no, she brought this on me. She's like, Shawn, it's just a hug. Settle down. No, look at my hands. Please don't get pregnant. Please don't get pregnant. Shawn, that's not how it works. How do you know? Because I have a kid.
Oh, God. You're going to get pregnant.
How are we going to know who the father is? Just out here hugging everybody.
You're going around hugging everybody. Just hither and yon fucking. Why don't you just hug the whole town?
Can't go down the street without seeing somebody you haven't hugged.
It's like a hugging bicycle over here. Everybody's just happy. Tip number 92, get in sync physically with your partner. Games designed to get people physically mirroring each other helped make them more in sync, attentive, and alert.
Okay.
So if I'm part of a mirror and you're part of a mirror, then we I would do this and then you would do that and then I'd move this. It's like the scenes that you see in old black and white shows where there's an archway and one person's on one side and one person's on the other side.
Usually it's when the dude
mimic each other.
He's like in the house of the dude's wife or like daughter, and he like walks by the mirror and he's like, "Wait a minute, who is that?" And it's like, "Ooh, wait, looks like me. Is it me?"
Tip number 91, ask for a scene without type suggestions. Often suggestions from an audience can be traps. They'll call out disgusting things that really wouldn't ever make an exciting scene. It's just to get laughs. An idea is to ask for suggestions of a scene without blank, like a scene without puppies or a scene without love.
Oh man. Yeah, I could see doing more like pulling stuff out of a hat, maybe. But yeah, I could see like you get the one person in this audience. It's like, all right, we need a food. Shit. Balls. Dicks. Like, all right. That's a good. All right, how about a real food? Vagina. I totally eat that.
Yeah.
That's how I got kicked out of my first improv class.
I just screamed vagina for 20 minutes straight, and then they asked me to leave.
No, I'm improving right now.
And then I kept yelling it in the parking lot for another 5 minutes, and then I got tired. Yeah. I laid down, I took a nap, and I woke up, and there were flying saucers everywhere.
It's okay, though. I was in a Walmart parking lot.
Hunting lions. Number 90, give yourself blind offers. Don't know what to say, not sure what to do. Make a blind offer to yourself. A blind offer is typically when you hand some invisible object to someone else and they let you know what you handed them. It's blind because you don't know until what it is, because you don't know what it is until later.
So it'd be like me pretending like, here, hold this. You're like, oh wow, it's oof. Like, oh, it's heavy, isn't it? Oh, God, yes, it's so heavy.
What is it? Oh, I'm supposed to guess. Wait.
Oh, yeah, that's my 100-pound feather. Ooh, yeah, it's so feathery.
Yeah.
I can't believe we found a pterodactyl feather.
Pterodactyls did have feathers.
Yeah, well, most dinosaurs did.
I saw somewhere that apparently dinosaurs. So dinosaurs, as you know, when I say dinosaur, and like what you picture in your head is probably something, big and like leathery skin and stuff like that. But from what I understand, that what we have been thinking dinosaurs look like is probably not what they looked like at all. More likely, dinosaurs, especially the flying ones like pterodactyls and stuff like that, were probably a lot closer to birds and actually had like a bunch of like bright colors, kind of look like almost like parakeets.
Yeah. I think that was the big like Jurassic Park push. Like they talked about that in there a lot. I know like the one thing that blows my mind too is like a lot of the fossils that we have are very partial fossils. Like the most complete T-Rex I think is still only like 30% complete. Like they've basically kind of like that. Like kind of guessed at what the rest of it is. So we don't even to be fair, like we have no real clue what those things looked like.
Yeah. Everything is just kind of like best guess.
Yeah.
And even like computer generated renderings and stuff like that. Like, they probably, they can't discern if like it looked, oh, this one had, green and blue and red tinted skin. Like, we just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for all
unless we find a dinosaur like completely frozen in ice.
That would be pretty sweet. And then it thaws out and comes alive.
And then
it's just running around going, rah, 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 rah. Like, that's where they got it. Scientifically accurate.
Number 89, volunteer fast and enthusiastically.
Oh, I'll do it.
All right, what are you going to do?
So, remember how I talked about how the grass was wet?
Yeah.
So I accidentally left the hose on. Don't get mad. I was busy.
But it's supposed to go in the pool. Why didn't you put it in the pool?
Well, I didn't air up the walls because
we're supposed to fill up the pool because we're all gonna get naked and have a naked pool party later.
Well, I got nervous because I thought because we talked about this earlier. I'm not big on touch.
I bought all these fucking pineapples for a reason, Shawn.
Well, I was worried because we're going to be naked. You know, I don't like to touch things. And I figured like there's so many people that there's not going to be enough room. That
you're going to have to get over that pretty darn quick now, aren't you?
There's going to be somebody that's like, oh my God, Shawn, give me a hug. I'm like,
That's true. You'd make a terrible swinger.
Yeah.
You'd be like, Tiffany, I don't even like hugging people.
How would I want to fuck a stranger?
Number 88. Be fascinated by your scene partner. No trouble there. Number 87. Change ideas at different paces.
That's a good idea.
Change the dynamic of a scene by how quickly or how slowly you change ideas. For example, perhaps you spend 30 seconds focused on finding where you put your keys. You check all over the place wondering where they are, versus you spend 5 seconds looking for your keys, then get distracted by wondering what your boss will say if you're late. And then 7 seconds later, you realize you're hungry and you wonder if you have time for a snack. And then 6 seconds later, you realize you left your keys out on the patio.
Yeah, I could see that being, because that's probably something I struggle with is like I always keep like a very like cadence. So like I could see myself being like, all right, we're in this spot. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, next spot. Dun, 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 dun. Next spot. Dun, 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 dun. So it kind of like you can kind of see the curveballs coming.
Oh, so you'd have kind of a rhythm to it. So what you're saying is you would approach it like poetry.
Yeah. I think that'd be a good way to do it.
Yeah. With verse and with rhythm and verse.
And a chorus.
And a bridge. Wait, we're not supposed to bridge. That's one of the sins.
Yeah, see? Not even listening to your own list.
Now I gotta go to jail.
Yeah.
Improv jail.
Improv jail. You know what they do there?
What? What do they do in improv jail?
They do things.
Don't say rape. Say anything but rape.
They hug rape. You get all the hugs in jail. Don't drop the soap. Why? Because they'll hug you.
You were like, I'm like, he's gonna say rape. He can't think of anything right off the spot, so he's just gonna. Why is your go-to rape? You can't do that.
I mean, it's prison. That's why they scare you. It's like the whole thing with like Dare. They're like drugs are bad. I mean, all they gotta say is like if you do drugs and go to jail, you're gonna get raped by a big dude. I don't want that. Well, then don't do drugs. Well, I'm not doing them then.
Oh God.
You like smoking that weed? Well, guess what? You're going to be smoking in jail. If you're not good at it, you're going to lose your teeth. Learn that from Butterfly Effect.
And then you get really good at it.
I mean, not so much good, but, you know, they figure out how it works. They improv with your mouth.
That's terrible.
Improv number 84. Don't get super dark.
Don't mention rape. Number 86. Learn to speak gibberish with cards.
I don't get that.
There are any number of gibberish improv games, and they're very useful in getting people to use their bodies and be more expressive and dynamic. The challenge is that some people start making vague grunting noises when they try to say gibberish.
So this is like the Tim Allen / Jim Carrey approach.
I would say probably more Jim Carrey. You want to be more Jim Carrey and less Tim Allen.
Yeah. Okay. A little bit of Adam Sandler mixed in.
Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman was really good at gibberish. What was he always did that thing with the bongos. I can't remember how. No. Andy Kaufman was really good at gibberish. Number 85, try being incongruent. In real life, people say one thing verbally while their body language says something else entirely different. On stage, people often are more congruent. Someone is supposed to seduce another person, and they just come out and say it, and their body language totally matches. In real life, that person might not say anything directly because they fear rejection. They might act one way or say something another way. So that'd be like mismatch your body language to what you're saying.
Yeah, so it'd be like you coming up and be like, "Oh my God, I love you," and you give me a big hug, and I'm like, "Oh God, I just love hugs." Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah, thanks.
I gotta say, like, I'm like you're doing I feel like you're way better than this than I originally anticipated.
Richard, I've been improving for 36 years.
Wow. Number 84, subtly endow your scene partners with attributes. In real life, you may think one person is stupid. You might think another is rude and another loving. You don't have to say that to them, and it influences how you interact with them to a fantastic degree. When you're in a scene, go ahead and just decide what attributes you want to give other players and subtly respond to them in a way that shows that.
So that where your touch could come in, because you could, if you think of them as like very sensual, maybe you kind of like your body language kind of plays into that.
Yeah. Or if you think that like they're a jerk, then you might,
closed off.
Yeah, act kind of closed off, like fold your arms at them, and
I think going to Walmart would be a great idea. I think they got some Axe body spray, and I'm running a little low because it's I don't know if you know this, Richard, but it's cougar season, which you should know because
I'm not.
You've bagged all the
on
cougars.
Axe body spray. You always see those. You always see those sketches where people kind of assume that it's for a certain type of person, and you just kind of don't want to be. You don't want to be cast as like that specific kind of person. You know what I mean? That uses a lot of Axe body spray.
I've always pitted you as an Old Spice person.
Oh my God! How did you know? I really am an Old Spice person. That's actual truth. My bathroom is like 10 steps from me. I could actually show you the Old Spice thing right now.
I feel like you're like
wow.
You should have been born in like the 50s.
You know what?
All right, sweet
I
honey buns.
wholeheartedly agree with that. You know what?
I gotta go and
hot little firecracker with a whole lot of moxie.
Yeah, gonna break the news today, baby.
Sinatra was a bit mercurial. Just throwing that out there. Number 83, practice not advancing. Imagine you're about to open the fridge door and it's stuck. You pull harder, it's still stuck. You get someone to try and help you, it won't budge. You try and rope and pulley system. You grab a gun and shoot the door. You get some dynamite and try to blow it open. That's the act of staying with one activity. You're not advancing into another action. You're staying with the action, but you're doing different things to keep it fresh.
Yeah, so this is like old school, like 30s
like a Looney
and 40s
Tunes
cartoons. Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I was thinking.
It's a Looney Tunes cartoon.
There's a bear. I can't remember what his name is. He's got a lot of those. Like, it'll be a whole thing of him like trying to keep beavers from taking wood from his house, and the whole thing's just about that. Doesn't advance the story at all. In the end, they still were there trying to take his wood, but
yeah, or like in the last 3 seconds, it's like some simple thing.
Oh,
like they're trying to open a door and like all this shit they try and do throughout the whole cartoon. They can't open the door, and then finally someone knocks on it, and then it opens.
Yeah, like the whole house blows up, and the door's still standing there.
Yeah.
Like, door was locked.
Number 82, try being a klutz.
Oh, I'm good at that. I don't know, babe. I slipped and fell, and I just hugged her.
I tripped, and then we hugged. I don't know what happened. And now she's pregnant. She was already pregnant, Shawn. Oh, God, it's probably mine.
Are we on Mars or Earth time? Oh, God, please tell me we're on Earth time.
It's going to be a Mars baby. I know it.
What will my parents think?
Are we allowed to have Martian babies? Is that legal?
Are we going to have to move to Canada? We're going to have to move to Canada. I'm sorry, babe.
It's a Handmaid's Tale all over. I mean, all over. It hasn't even happened the first time.
Guys, I'm really sorry. He gets like this. Like he knows it's not his baby. I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm sorry, too. I should have worn protection. Where's my body condom?
Masculine child. Number 81, change pace. Some people talk and move slow all the time. Some people talk a mile a minute and gesture wildly all the time. If you want to portray different characters and personalities, you better be able to change your pace. It's one of the simplest and easiest ways to convey a new character.
It's kind of like fluctuating your volume, too. So, like, if you're really, really loud, but then you come down really quietly, people start to pay attention, because now that you're talking quietly,
yes,
you've got something.
The science of listener attention, Shawn. Because I don't know if you know this, because sometimes I get in real close when I really
sexy Richard.
need to say something important. And that's when I throw on my radio voice. Hey, what's going on? This is Big Dick coming at you on K595.
Crash on I-69.
This is what happens when you're not allowed your own radio show because apparently you say fuck too much. You
call yourself Big Dick and somebody's like, oh my God, that's not FCC regulated. And you're like, well, fuck you. That's like, you're still on the air, so I don't give a shit. You know what? Like when you remember like being a kid, like when your dad yelled at you, like it got your attention. But like when he got in close like that and talked quietly, that was the scariest thing in the world.
My dad was not a yeller. My dad was one of those guys that was like, that did like that slow boil, that slow rolling boil when he was angry. And it was fucking terrifying. And apparently I do it as well, because all three of my kids are like, when Dad's mad, it freaks me out. One time I yelled and the dog pissed itself. Like the dog peed all over the floor. Because the dog's like, he's not supposed to yell. Number 80, speak in verse. Okay. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say it again. Speak in verse. Same as the first, a little bit better, a little bit worse. So what you do is you turn your words into a poem.
Mm-hmm.
Turn your speech when you want to beseech and get a reaction and drive people to action.
Yeah. Very clear, crisp.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Acting.
Okay, number 79. You might have to help me with this one because I don't really understand. Number 79, be boring. People constantly try to be interesting and it makes them boring.
I don't know. I just think like sometimes you just got to sit around and kind of think through it. Like, I don't know. Maybe you just sitting on a porch. You know, there's this one time I had this cat named Roscoe. Ugly cat, but it was tan with a yellow tail. And it would always go out and find the biggest mouse it could find. Okay.
I'm picking up what you're throwing down. I'm getting
like
it. That's nice. Kind of pulled me in for a second. That was good.
Kind of a tail. You're like, I don't know where this is going. Because, I mean, you have to think when you're like there, you're there to be entertained. But there's a story like that.
That's like in my head, if I'm sitting down and watching someone on a stage, whoever's on that stage needs to be something. They need to be larger than people that I encounter in my day to day. Otherwise, they shouldn't be up there in my head. Like that's what I'm thinking.
The best joke that like kind of makes me think of that boring thing is Norm Macdonald's moth joke.
Oh my God. No, yeah. Or basically anything that Norm Macdonald has ever said.
Yeah. Because it goes on for like 10 minutes and you're like, where's this going? At the end, it's like, yep. Long way to get there, but we got there. Yeah. I wish I would pay attention to him more.
During the OJ trial, the defense attorney held up the knit cap that was apparently found during the murder scene, and that's when OJ said, "Hey, be careful with that. That's my lucky stabbing cap." Oh, what kills me every time. Number 78, use the story arc. The story arc is the basic structure of what happens in most stories. I guess what they're saying is, maybe try and develop almost like kind of on the fly, develop a 3-act structure. However, maybe like try and squeeze it into a tight 2 minutes.
Yeah, that I could see that being kind of tough because I feel like you could almost like comic book it where like you go way too long and it's like you get the lights like 30 seconds and you're like, oh shit, we gotta go home. We gotta go home on this. And
yeah, we gotta land this plane.
Yeah.
Number 77, forget being funny. The more you focus on being funny, the more you'll become driven by a need to please others. You'll lose your spontaneity and become nothing more than a mere slave to the whims of laughter. You may notice how a lot of comedians tend to not so happy in their real lives. Laughter is one of those things that tends to be as fickle as love. The more you try and force it, the more it moves away. Focusing on anything else at all will be more productive.
Yeah, I think anytime I've ever said anything that gets a laugh that like I've intentionally like thought through doesn't feel as good as like something I've just said like spontaneously that gets a laugh.
Yes, 100%.
It's almost like it leaves your mouth before you even think about it.
I think it's because if it's something that kind of flies out of your mouth and then it gets a big reaction, not only are you like, oh my God, I made them laugh, but like, so you feel not only funny, but you also feel smart at the same time.
Yeah.
That you were able to, quickly assess the situation and have a, 100% pitch perfect response.
Yeah. Then when you get like 4 or 5 of those in a row, you're like, I am a comedic genius.
I am a god. Yeah, you get like 4 or 5 zingers out, and then you're at a party and you get like 4 or 5 good ones out, and then everybody's laughing, and then you make everybody leave, and then you're like, I have to finish my screenplay. Get out.
I do like when you're in that party though.
Roll here, everyone out now.
But like the reverse of that, like when you're at a party and like you throw out like 3 or 4 that you think are gold and don't get any reactions, then I do feel like you try harder.
Yes.
Like, how about that cake, huh? Shit.
It's hot up here. You need to start pulling out your Dangerfield.
Yeah. Everybody want to start hugging? Let's all hug. Oh, damn it. All right, now it's just getting awkward.
Jeez, is this a party at Jonestown or what? Number 76, utilize relationship-driven versus action-driven scenes. A relationship-driven scene is interesting because of the dynamics between characters. An action scene is about what happens.
Yeah, I mean, character development, I think, when there's not a lot of visualness going on, I think that fits.
Yeah, and also when you and also character development is something I feel that is hard. It's a tougher needle to thread if you're trying to do it in 90 seconds.
Yeah, because the reverse of it, I mean, then you start getting into kind of like prop comedy, like Carrot Top.
I wouldn't mind being Carrot Top. That dude's fucking ripped. I feel like that guy could rip me in half.
Yeah, and he does shows in Vegas. Like he does like 6 shows a week. Probably not that many. He probably does like 4 shows a week, but still. It's like you go up, you do your bits. It's probably like he's probably got like 3 sets he does and just, switches them out.
Yeah. And it's just him just like, hey, look at this. It does this thing. Isn't that cool? Okay, I'm going to throw this over here. Hey, look at, like, he comes out with like 2 suitcases full of shit. He's like, you know what he is? He's basically a vacuum cleaner salesman that people pay to sit down and see.
Look, it's a bee on a saw. It's a buzz saw. Get it? No? All right. Well, fuck you guys.
Have you ever had a vacuum cleaner salesman come to your house?
When I was really young, we did.
When I was, it was a long time ago. It was probably like, 10 plus years ago. There was a vacuum cleaner guy that actually, like, a door-to-door fucking vacuum cleaner salesman.
Yep.
Showed up at the house and was trying to sell me a fucking vacuum cleaner and was doing the whole bit like, oh, I'm going to spill these coffee grounds on your fucking carpet. But look, I'll clean them up. And he fucking vacuumed like half my house. And I didn't buy anything, but he did it.
Should be like, hey, can you come back in a week?
And I was like, I was just more kind of marveled by the fact that it's like finding a payphone in the wild. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, because there's not really many like door-to-door salesmen anymore because it's not a gig that works out.
No.
Like now it's like,
plus, like, I feel like with that kind of job, it's more volume than anything else. So it's easier to, cold call 5,000 people in a day or send out 10,000 emails than it is to go knock on 40 doors.
Well, back then, too, I think they pretty much had to buy or put up a lot of the money up front for that stuff. It's like they had the inventory and they just were going door to door trying to sell it. Nope, not for me.
All right, Shawn, I've got time for one more, and I feel like this is a good one to end on. It's number 75. So we got through 25 of the 101 improv comedy tips. Number 75 is create stories. Improv based on stories and the elements of good stories is memorable. Improv that's just a bunch of goofing around is forgettable, and audiences leave and get curious what they'll try next Saturday. Or I guess in our case, Sunday.
Yeah, well, that's like what you said, like when we kind of figured out what kind of show we were, it was after we started doing kind of like creating stories around stories. Like we have a topic like, oh, it's Jane Goodall in nature. Well, let's figure out how this, chimpanzee war would go. What are they fighting over? Well, they're fighting over bananas. And then they go and steal the women. And Jane Goodall's there, like watching them, being like, what the fuck's going on? Start hugging everybody.
Yeah. And then she's like Maria in West Side Story.
Yeah. She whistles and snaps. Yeah, we did create the Jets and the Sharks. I don't remember what we called them, though. It wasn't Jets and Sharks.
But it should have been.
It
was in our hearts. That's the point.
Yeah, well, we came up with Zombie Cow. We came up with... Yeah. We made one of my favorite ones, Richard, is when we had John Cena marry a cow. That was a good one. Yeah, like that's...
You could see me, Betsy.
You could always see me.
You could see me. You always saw me.
The messed up thing is now he's in commercials with a cow.
Yeah.
Somebody owes us royalties.
You're welcome, milk.
I think it's some insurance company or something. I don't know what it is.
You're welcome, Farmers Insurance. That's the only one I could think would match.
Those are my favorite ones. Like whenever we find those type of stories and we come out and like I go to bed thinking like, oh my God, that should be a movie. Like at the end of the episode, if I'm like, that would be a funny movie, that makes my day.
Shawn will take your residuals and hugs.
Just make sure my wife's not there.
And wear protection for God's sake.
Yeah. I've got my body condom. You bring yours.
Now.
That's how you get the face herpes.
Face PV.
Well, Richard, that was a lot of fun. I like that. But so why don't you give us some Richard's closing thoughts? Which is actually our most improv section of the show.
That's true. It's true. And honestly, this is All right. Well, we've branded ourselves for the longest as an quote improv comedy podcast. And I guess the question that I felt needed answered that I'm sure a lot of people ask is what makes an improv comedy podcast? And I feel it takes a lot of these kind of things. It's basically a lot of be with somebody you trust. And the basis for improv comedy is basically be with somebody you trust and work together to elicit a laugh from an audience. So I feel like I have two of those boxes checked and maybe a third one. It all depends on what other people think. And I am totally fine with hugging people. I just want you to know that I am not emotionally invested in that hug whatsoever. So if you approach me and you give me a hug, know that you were hugging essentially an empty piece of ice.
Yeah, don't look in the eyes. He just has dead, cold eyes when you hug him.
As black as midnight.
Doll's eyes. All right, well, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Visit our website, we're languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Emails at bros@languageofbromance.com. And we like to thank our two favorite improv partners of all time, Wendy and Aaron.
I'm totally going to get Aaron pregnant.
Come here, let me hug you. All right. Well, is there anything else before I close her out?
No, Shawn. Even though that's not what you're supposed to say, you can't ever say no. Yes, well, Shawn, I have something else. We gotta keep going. Don't drop the ball. Don't drop the ball. Keep it up. Keep it up. Okay. Suggestion from the audience. Let's go.
That's the and then game, right? And then what? Well, and then this. And then what? And then this. And then we say, that's all the Bromance have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And remember, don't be a why. Be a why not. Hey, Richard, I have something to admit right now.
Oh, lay on me, big guy.
I did this whole podcast not using a number 2 pencil.
All right, everybody, back to 1. Run it back.